Hey y'all, and welcome to today's video. This is going to be a little different style video than my typical vlogs because I am taking you on a day in the life through my pumping routine. If you're new to my channel, I had a little girl 5 months ago and we are strictly still breastfeeding, which means when I'm away from her I do have to pump so that she has milk for the next day. So I just went back to work this week and I'm just going to show you my pumping routine, all of the equipment I use, what pumps I use, how I store breast milk safely while I'm away from home, how I keep the pump part sanitized, just everything you need to know about breastfeeding when you're away from your baby when you do have to pump. Now, I don't love pumping, but it's just kind of a way of life if you want to continue your breastfeeding journey with your baby and you do have to be away from home. So if you're an expectant mom or a new mom and you will be having to work out of the home at some point when your child is still young, I hope this video is helpful to you. I know when I first went back to work, the whole pumping experience was kind of intimidating. I didn't know how I was going to find time to pump, how I was going to make sure I got enough milk. So I'm just going to show you today my streamlined routine of how I've made this as easy as possible when I'm away from my child. So we'll go ahead and jump right into the video. I am en route to work right now. I'm actually carpooling with my husband today. We work in the same town, so a couple of days a week we like to carpool. However, if I am driving myself to work, I do still pump my first pumping session at this time. So it's about 6:30. I've just fed my baby about 45 minutes to an hour ago, and I am gonna get in one more pumping session before I get to work using my Medela hand pump. Breast milk production is the greatest between about 2 a.m. and 11 a.m. So I try to maximize the amount of pumping sessions I get in between that time frame. I'm gonna get in a pumping session now on the way to work, and then I'll have one more pumping session about 9:30. So I will come back and show you how I actually pump when I get to work. Right now I'm just gonna pump while we're riding. Any of my other breastfeeding videos, you know that I like to store breast milk in glass mason jars. I try to avoid plastic whenever possible, so I'm just going to go ahead and transfer what I pumped into the mason jar. I don't pump a lot on the way to work in the mornings. Like I said, I've just pumped an hour ago with my daughter and fed her, but I just want to make sure that I'm empty as possible so that I can make it for about 2.5 hours until my next pumping session. Alright, so it is about 9:20. It is my first pumping session at work. Today I don't have students, but in the next couple of days I will, so I need to do this as quickly as possible and have the process streamlined. So I have my Spectra pump right here, my pump bag in here, and then all of my pump parts. I just keep my pump parts in a reusable cloth bag, and then when I'm finished with them, I put them in the fridge. That keeps them sterile so that they don't have any mold or anything yucky grow on them while they're sitting out before I get home and wash them. I just recently got some adapters that allow me to pump directly into mason jars. So this is what I pumped this morning. Since it wasn't a full bottle for my baby, I actually left this out. Breast milk can stay at room temperature for up to 4 hours. It's only been about 2 hours since I pumped this, so this is still perfectly safe. I'm gonna go ahead and hook everything up to these two bottles. They will attach to both breasts and I will start pumping. So I'll show you how that works now. I will have all of these adapters linked down below. So in my bag, I actually have Spectra adapters to Medela parts. That's not really important. All that's important here is I'm going to show you how to hook this up to a mason jar. So these are called the NANOBEBE breast pump adapters, and they will directly go onto this mason jar like this. I'll put a mason jar ring over it. And you have a perfect adapter that will allow you to pump directly into the mason jar. There's no transferring of milk, and your milk is not touching that yucky plastic for hours and hours at a time. So I'll go ahead and hook this on now. So here's the setup. If you don't have adapters, your pump will just go directly into your setup right here. So go ahead and get the second one set up now. These little adapters have different sizes depending on if you're using a Spectra pump or a Medela pump. This is the Medela adapter. It's here. Put this on top. I use this a lot quicker. I'm just going kind of slow today to show you the whole process. Alright, so here we are. So I can directly pump into both of these mason jars. This will probably finish up a bottle, and this will at least get me started on a bottle for the next time. Like I've told you before, I don't have an oversupply, so I have to get milk anytime I can to get enough milk for my child the next day. And I'm ready to pump. I always start out on the letdown mode, which is 70 if you're using the Spectra. You can check out all kind of tutorials on using the Spectra versus the Medela. A snack on pumping. Alright, so my Spectra pump lets me know how long I've been pumping, and I aim for about 18 to 22 minutes pumping. That's when I feel I get the maximum amount of milk. And we are finished now, so I have everything already stored in the mason jars. It's pretty simple from here. I just take apart everything, pack it back away till the next pumping session, which will be around lunchtime. Now, to take this off, I'm literally just going to remove this piece. This will all go back in my cloth storage bag, which will go in my mini fridge to keep it sterile and clean until the next pumping session. At first, I used to think that you had to wash your parts after every use, and that's just not possible when you're working throughout the day and you only have a short time span to pump. So this little trick has been great to keep your pump parts safe and sterile throughout the day until you can get home and wash them. So this is all packed up until the next pumping session, and will go directly into my mini fridge. My milk here, since I have 2 little jars, I'm going to pour them all into one. So I went ahead and just combined them. There's probably just a little drop in here, but what I will do is put this one in the fridge. It is now ready to refrigerate until she's ready to drink it tomorrow. And then this bottle, it does have a little bit of milk in there. Remember, I told y'all that breast milk can stay out for up to 4 hours at room temperature. So this one will just sit out, and then I will pump directly into it at my next pumping session, which will be in about 2.5 more hours. We're all done. We'll put everything in the fridge, store my pump back in my desk drawer, and move on with the day. Alright, so it's been about 2.5 hours since I last pumped. It is our lunchtime now, so I will pump during this time. So I got out my parts from the fridge, a fresh mason jar, and then this is the mason jar that I used at the last pumping session, but it is still safe to use it because it has not been sitting out for more than 4 hours, one for each side. Super simple. So I'm headed home from work now. I'm going to get in one last pumping session, my 4th session of the day. That will give me enough milk for my daughter to have tomorrow. So I hope this little day in the life pumping routine has been helpful to you if you are an expectant mom or just wondering how pumping works when you're away from your child.